Glorious day to you, my friends. I am here on magical Mount Hood. And have you ever been so frustrated and you don't know what to do? Have you ever felt that contrast? Or have you ever been angry and you don't know how to get out of that funk? Well, today, that's what we're going to talk about. We all experience what Abraham Hicks calls contrast. Sometimes we don't know what to do about it. I was hiking on this trail and for a little bit couldn't find the trail. So I said, hey, that could be a pretty good talking point, because sometimes we know we're experiencing contrast, but we don't know where the joy is. We just know that it's not here. And so what can we do? So again, in this series, prepping for the Lion's Gate and making my way down to Mount Shasta, for the Lion's Gate, for the new moon, and some other stuff. So I'm going to try to focus my language on being self-empowering at this point. Once we get into the Lion's Gate, once we enter the Lion's Gate and go through the Lion's Gate, I'm just going to be channeling. So whatever happens at that point. And again, there's plenty of snow here, up around 6,000 feet. When I started hiking, a raven started cawing at me. And I'm going, what? You want me to look down? Well, let's see if we can get... It's a raven feather. That needs a lot of TLC. So that's what we're going to talk about today. How can... Sometimes when we're not feeling so wise and we're feeling the contrast, how do we give ourselves TLC? Or as on Saturday, Abraham talked about self-soothing. And we have these mechanisms. One young woman came up into the hot seat, and for some reason she was inspired to talk about sucking her thumb and doing that beyond the appropriate age. And Abraham jumps right in and says, you have your self-soothing technique all built in, and your parents thought it was inappropriate, so they wanted to try to substitute it. And when we go within, we know what is self-soothing for us. When we go without, we listen to our parents. Oh, that's not appropriate. Or hopefully most of us are adults, and we can recognize that if we're trying to empower ourselves, that we know that the true power is within. And that true power is us in our self-guidance system. When we're experiencing the contrast, how do we get back in alignment? How do we get back experiencing our joy? Sometimes we have to self-soothe. So I want to say self-soothe. Even if it's sucking your thumb. And Abraham drilled that home through 3 or 4 different people. They sat there and talked about how just shoving her parents promised her a cat. And then as soon as she got a cat, she said, oh, we're moving to Canada, and so we can't bring a cat. And then we'll get a cat when we get to Canada. And then when they got to Canada, they moved into a no-pet building, so no more cat. Self-soothing. What are your techniques for self-soothing? What brings out your joy that you can do for yourself? So we'll turn the camera around and start hiking. And there's not much that raven can do about the loss of their feather. Sometimes we feel like our wings are clipped. Ikachiata anahatukuta shashashayata tatirata. It's kind of bright here. Ishahatata kariata atana nanato husha. Can we pause? Can we breathe? Can we start paying attention to our breath? Cha'atia rahana okusha atuti riksa. Shahasa atakati riarahana tati. And there's Mount Hood. Ishahata arkuta arahananani riro. Shahasa akaheti. And Abraham was all about the non-judgmentalness of soothe the way that you need to soothe yourself. And that sucking of the thumb is a great, great example. You know? And somebody else later on brought up something about doing drugs or alcohol. Not that I'm promoting that, but Abraham talked about it. If you're in such a bad place and it's going to get you into a better place and you know it's going to be temporary, it's a self-soothing technique. But Abraham also likes to say that there's nothing you need to do and nothing you need to remember. Because alignment with your source within happens without trying. When we stop resisting, or when we lessen the resistance, we automatically align with our source within. Abraham liked to talk about the cork. When we resist our inner being, when we resist the flow, when we resist the center of our vortex, it's like holding a cork underwater. When we let go of the cork, it just bobs back up to the surface. We get back into alignment pretty darn quick. And the gentle tuning is simply more consistent alignment and more consistent thoughts of alignment and abundance. Alignment is abundance, is joy, is love. You're in joy. Enjoying life. And sometimes we don't know where this trail is going. Whoop. What can we do? Get our bearings. Our joy. How are you feeling right now is the question. And what can I do to feel better? That observation sometimes is enough. I don't want to be where I am, so let's change the point of view. I love listening to Abraham Hicks because the answer is always the same. Allow. My words are allow your true authentic self. And I'm sure we've all heard get out of your own way. And all that means is that we're experiencing contrast. We're resisting our joy. And there's so many times that we actually judge what feels good, what we want, what our heart wants, because the heart wants what it wants. You got chata atukuna nanati so ashai nahari ayakotokor or hasukahi. Kuchara hana hasahi kitioro hosa. Hananiara atukura hata nananiara hata. And it's always funny seeing snow on a hike in mid-July. 3/4 of the way through July. Ashahati tukurahanayara. Kachaku hushaaya nayaratirata. So let's take a breath together. Just chill for a bit. Ichiguru ta arnasa atikata. Shohusa awaha. Kinanara hasasahi. And simply breathe. And close your eyes if you want. We don't need to focus on anything. We don't need to focus on joy. Too much intention. Simply breathe in. And breathe out. And feel how it feels to breathe. Feel how it feels when the air fills your lungs. And then feel how it feels when the warm air exits your lungs, goes through your nostrils or out your mouth, over your palate. Shashia hasa atahira. Kachukuru husana nahati tukura. Nashihia sohatar watakashkahi si. Natakari haratukuru hushu. Niharhata ashahaya. Hutoro hosana hasasihi. Kachihiro rona narhe tukoro. So in this entire prep series, I'm not going to call on the holy fire. The series is gently tuning to get to recognize our own inner being, to get to recognize our own source within. Sometimes we think that I'm going to go up this way. Sometimes we think that the holy fire is external. We are an extension of source energy. And that extension itself is the holy fire. And when we're in the non-physical, we don't experience the contrast. We're only experiencing our joy. We still have our vortex. And we're in the center of our vortex. And then we decide what we wish to experience next. And then incarnate again. And this contrast is crucial to the expansion of the universe, the expansion of you, the expansion of all that is, so we can learn how to self-adjust. We can learn how to self-soothe. Somehow I think we're off the trail, but hey, I can always turn around to Satya Kananaratu. So we can learn to trust our guidance system. And Abraham Hicks recommends that when we manifest, that we manifest simply for the feeling of alignment, simply for the feeling of joy, not to accomplish anything. When our purpose is to manifest something that's going without, ishahate kurwata, it's something external, it is something impermanent. You are an eternal being, and your source within is eternal. Your source within is not separate from you. Your source within is actually who you really are. But I can use words. Wouldn't you like to experience it? Because when you experience it for yourself, that's the positive reinforcement of how to get back in alignment and experience joy. And the more consistently you do it, the more it will be in your beliefs. It'll be in your knowing. And that's all that Abraham's talking about when they talk about expectations. It's not expecting that you're going to get the thing. That expectation is what happens when you're fully aligned with your source within. When you're in the center of your vortex, you know it's there. And you know it'll come to the physical in divine timing when you're ready for it. And that everything that comes out of your vortex is joyful and is a blessing. Our joy is eternal. Our love is eternal. And when we reduce our resistance to that, we experience more joy. I'm going to go this way. They both lead to the same place. Kuchaha sawa atokura hataguta. Some of the techniques that I've used in the past when I started to experience contrast is I remembered the Reiki ideals. Just for today, do not anger, do not worry, and be filled with gratitude. Dedicate yourself to your work and be kind to all people. Whenever I felt myself getting angry, I said that, and then I wasn't angry anymore. That was self-soothing. It was empowering. But that worked for me. What works for you? Maybe take notes on what works for you. And again, the question is, how do you feel right now? And when you have awareness that you're not feeling how you want to feel, you have an opportunity to do something about it. You can change your thinking. And that is, my friends, the holy fire. Fire is defined to be the visible effect of matter changing state or form. Change happens. And you can choose to change your situation. You can choose to change your mindset. And it's all based on what's working and what's not working. It's all based on how you feel right now. To me, speaking light language is self-soothing. Blessing the water is self-soothing. I say it raises my vibration. But that's kind of judgmental. I said I try not to speak about raising and lowering. It's about alignment and harmony. I am more in harmony with my fire within, with my source within, with that joy, that burning sensation in my heart when I do those things. And when I recognize that I'm full of joy, that just reinforces me doing it again. It reinforces my belief. And that's what light language is for me. It's an expression of my inner joy. It comes from a non-judgmental place because it doesn't come from my mind. I don't think. It just comes out and I allow it to come out. And it's okay that you take notes on what's working and what's not working. As well as what you wish to manifest. What brings out your joy and what brings out resistance. It all comes from you. And Abraham also likes to say, no one has the power to pinch you off from your inner being and the abundance therein. Only you have that power. Through resistance and contrast. Or resistance when experiencing contrast. We don't have to resist the contrast. But if it's something we don't prefer, we can observe it, notice it, change thought, maybe change action. But the power's in the thought. I'm going to go that way. Well, it's going to be the same place anyway, because I just see it going up and then down. kutata ata nanaha tito ruho. Nakashahaya sokota rahatatita. And I'm on a trail and I'm going east. I know that because there's Mount Hood and I came this way and Ashahaya tokorhoto. So Mount Hood on the left is my handrail. Ishukotota nanida. But if you've watched any of my hike videos, there's plenty of times that I get, in orienteering we call it misplaced. In other words, we're not where we thought we were. But based on techniques that we've learned. Okay, see, we're back. And I go down this time. And using the handrails and observing other handrails, it reinforces that we're going in the right direction and will soon no longer be misplaced. We'll be in a fully recognizable place. So apparently this is water that's coming straight out of the ground. Because that's what it does. The path of least resistance. Oh, so there's a drop off. So does that mean I chose poorly? Let us see. Either that or it's saying, hey, pay attention. That's not a real big drop off, so I'm going down. Sometimes we don't see those warning signs and we experience some contrast. See, I could pout at the bottom of the hill. Wah, contrast. Eee. But when you're past it, I'm going to go this way. Which I could probably go that way too. I think I'll end up in the same place. Yes, we're at a ski resort. And I guess technically we could hike during the winter, but you gotta dodge skiers. I'm not so sure that this is a run though. Could be. And a white butterfly. Oh, that's one other thing that my inner being noticed. That those synchronicities are one of those things that bring out my joy. And a gentle reminder that they really don't mean anything except that it's bringing out your joy. And allowing the joy to flow. Ushahata, tikutar, shahanita. Hey, maybe right over there. Shikatikarata. Anything to bring out your joy. Iskwata? Nope. So we'll go up. Nihatar. It's an adventure. Your mindset determines a whole lot. Okay. I I think I'm repeating myself now. So what I'm going to do is turn the camera around in this little tree grove, since there's a little bit of shade. Let me go down here. And I thank you, my friends, for sharing in my highest bliss. There's nothing you need to do. There's nothing you need to remember. Alignment and joy are your most natural state. And make it a great day. Because why would you leave it up to anyone else? Isahana arihatakatakadira arishaha kini arahatatakuhu ushananatata.